Hi Vikes fans, and this is the wrap-up of the 2013-2014 UVic Vikes men's basketball team for their first half of the season, as the Vikes lead the Pacific Division by a 3-game margin with a 9-1 record following their first defeat of the season last weekend over in Langley at Trinity Western, but then they rebounded with a very good victory in their final regular season game of the first half. Ryan Szatmary and Peter Songhurst, your official Vikes broadcasters, on hand to break this down for you. And Peter, the Vikes have a very sizable lead in that Pacific Division at this point, but then they will be very well tested in that first weekend in January, as both the top two teams in the Prairie Division, Saskatchewan and Alberta, make their way into town. But first of all, what have you seen in this first half that has allowed the Vikes to this great start?
Well, when you talk about the men, you have to first of all and foremost come to mind Torella. And it's simply put, he's our free spirit. You often call him the X Factor and whatever, but it's just surprising some of the things that he does on the court that are just really ad lib. He just makes it up as he goes. And I know it's maybe sometimes frustrating. Do you rein him in or do you not? And the general consensus is you don't. You let him play, and he's a fan pleaser. And really, he does lead by example on the court. So he is definitely one that I think if you could put the Vikes' fortunes on someone's back, it would be Terrell Evans would be my first choice. And then second of all, the big man, Chris McLaughlin, you and I have remarked just about midway through last year, and then this year he has just gotten stronger and better and better. He seems to really enjoy getting in and mixing it up on the boards there. He does a very good job of rebounding, and now he's contributing 14 points a game too, so he's no slouch when it comes to putting the ball in the hoop. So he is another big part of the game. One of the guys that doesn't get all the recognition that I think we should mention at this particular point is Reiner Tile. And he seems to be given the most difficult defensive assignment. He gets the other team's, quote, best player, the one that's going to be the hardest to defend, and that's his job. And he does a very, very good job with that. And also, you know, he contributes offensively. He's pretty good on the perimeter shooting the three, but the rebounding is his key too, and he has helped the Vikes getting the ball back for more opportunities to play offense, and really they can thank Reiner Tile for a lot of those opportunities due to the fact that he does really have no compunction about attacking the boards.
And one player as well, Pete, that we haven't gotten to see very much of yet this season, even though he was touted as a great pickup for the Vikes in this last offseason, is point guard Marcus Tibbs, who has been injured with a broken hand for the better part of this first half of the season. He injured it very early on in his Vikes time here this season, so hopefully they will have him return to the lineup during this stretch drive in January. The stretch drive, which of course starts with this first weekend in January on January 10th and 11th, right here at the University of Victoria against the Saskatchewan Huskies on the Friday night, and then against the Alberta Golden Bears on the Saturday night. Two games that will really test the will of this Vikes squad.
Very definitely, and you know, the Vikes had that one hiccup. They lost that one game in the first half, and I think, you know, there is such a thing as a good loss, and I think Coach Craig Beaucamp is going to turn that into a positive and say, all right, guys, have I now got your attention? Here's what we need to focus on, and we kind of let down in that game, and we cannot do that. So I think it was a good lesson learned by all the players, and obviously a lesson that they want to carry into the break and start, because of course, who do they go against right away? Saskatchewan, Alberta, and it doesn't get any easier after that. You've got UBC looming on that final weekend. So hopefully some lessons were learned, and they'll be able to pick up the win streak, and away they go from there again.
So the Vikes finished their first half of the season at a 9-1 record, leading the way in the Pacific Division. Plenty of great basketball still to come from McKinnon this season. We've got 4 homestands between now and that final one against UBC, all starting with that first weekend in January 10th and 11th against the Saskatchewan Huskies and the Alberta Pandas. For any information on this, you can go to our website at www.govikesgo.com, and Peter and I will have the broadcast for those games that weekend on the official home for Vikes basketball, www.canadawest.tv, and we look forward to having you guys back at McKinnon this January.